my dear friend, there is something I have discovered after many years of observing my own life. Much of the exhaustion, pressure, and restlessness we carry every day does not come from lacking something. It often comes from holding on to too many things that no longer belong in our lives. There are possessions we no longer use, thoughts that have grown old, habits that quietly drain our energy, relationships that have fulfilled their purpose. Yet we continue to cling to them, and little by little, life begins to feel crowded, not because there is not enough space, but because we have not yet learned how to let go. Today, I would like to invite you on a gentle journey, a journey of releasing what no longer serves you, so that life can become simpler, lighter, and more conscious. First, let us reflect on the meaning of letting go. Letting go does not mean giving up on life. It does not mean turning your back on things you once cherished. Letting go simply means loosening your grip on what has already completed its purpose, so your hands can feel lighter, so your heart can have more room to breathe, so life can welcome something new. When we were born, we arrived in this world with empty hands, but as we grow older, we begin collecting things, possessions, responsibilities, expectations, worries, old stories, old wounds, old beliefs, and one day, we find ourselves exhausted without fully understanding why. Perhaps it is because we are carrying far more than we need. The first thing you can begin releasing is clothing you have not worn for a long time. Open your wardrobe, look slowly, pay attention. You may discover pieces that have been sitting there for years. You do not wear them, you do not choose them, yet you continue to keep them, because you feel attached, because you once loved them, because you think you might need them someday. But my dear friend, if you have not touched something for 6 months, a year, or even longer, perhaps it has already fulfilled its role in your life. Hold it in your hands, remember the memories it once gave you, and then gently thank it. Allow it to leave, not with rejection, but with gratitude. You may be surprised to discover that clearing a small corner of your closet can also lighten a corner of your soul. The second thing to release is negative language, because words do not simply reflect our inner world, they help create it. When someone constantly speaks about scarcity, they begin to see scarcity everywhere. When someone constantly speaks about difficulties, they begin to notice obstacles everywhere. This does not mean denying reality, it means learning to describe reality through a different energy. Instead of saying, "I am exhausted," you might say, "I need more rest." Instead of saying, "Life is terrible," you might say, "Perhaps life is teaching me something." A small shift in language can create a profound shift in awareness. Another thing worth releasing is the constant consumption of unnecessary information. Today, we absorb so much news, social media, other people's stories, endless opinions, and eventually, the mind becomes overwhelmed. Try reducing the amount of information you consume. Instead, spend more time observing yourself, because sometimes the most important thing is not knowing what is happening in the world, it is knowing what is happening within you. Another beautiful practice is letting go of the habit of bringing your phone into the bedroom. Many people begin their day with a screen, and end their day the same way, without realizing it. They train their minds to remain constantly distracted. Try giving the first hour of your morning back to yourself. A cup of tea, a few deep breaths, a moment of silence, a little morning sunlight. You may discover a completely different kind of energy. The fifth thing to release is the habit of rushing. We live in a world that constantly tells us to move faster, do more, achieve more, become more productive, yet often, this constant hurry steals the beauty from our lives. Try placing your cup down gently, closing a door slowly, taking each step with awareness, eating a meal without multitasking. You may realize that life itself is not rushing, only the mind is. Another important thing to release is saying yes to everything. Many women spend years trying to please everyone around them, afraid of disappointing others, afraid of being judged, afraid of missing out, and somewhere along the way, they forget themselves. But every time you say yes to something that does not align with you, you are saying no to yourself. Learn to decline with kindness. That is not selfishness, it is honoring your own energy. Next, try letting go of the search for happiness. It may sound strange, but many people spend their lives chasing happiness as though it were a destination. They believe they will finally be happy when they have more money, more success, a more perfect life. Yet happiness is not waiting at the end of the road, it exists within each step along the journey. A peaceful morning, a warm meal, a healthy loved one, a sincere smile. Happiness has always been here, sometimes we are simply too busy to notice. The eighth thing to release is the need for everyone to understand you correctly. This is a heavy burden to carry. The truth is, no one can fully understand you. Sometimes, even you do not completely understand yourself, so why spend your precious energy trying to control how others see you? Allow people to think what they think, and give yourself permission to remain at peace. When you stop explaining yourself to the whole world, you gain more energy to understand yourself. And finally, perhaps the most difficult thing to let go of: relationships that no longer support your growth. Not everyone who enters your life is meant to stay forever. Some people walks beside you for many years, others arrive only to teach you a lesson. Some come to help you grow, and then leave. When a relationship continuously causes pain, when you have tried your best and nothing changes, perhaps the answer is not holding on tighter, perhaps it is gratitude. Gratitude for what was beautiful, gratitude for what was learned, and permission for both of you to continue your journeys, because letting go is not losing something, it is creating space for something more aligned to enter your life. My dear friend, by now, you may realize that what makes life feel heavy is not always having too little. Sometimes it is holding on to too much. So today, begin with one small step. Release one possession, release one old thought, release one worry, release one expectation, release one thing that no longer belongs to you, and then notice, life feels lighter, the mind becomes clearer, and the heart grows more peaceful, because sometimes, the most beautiful transformation does not come from gaining more, it comes from learning how to let go, and in doing so, returning to a life that is simple, gentle, and truly free. Thank you for taking the time to watch. And always remember that this world needs you, and only you can create the values. Don't forget to give me a like, subscribe, and turn on notifications to watch the latest videos every week. Once again, thank you and see you in the next videos.